I've learned my lesson like over the whole years, which is why we're doing this and which is why we're sharing all these information. None of these things are things that I haven't like done myself, and I see other influencers doing it, and this is me just like helping you because I've been there. And I don't feel like we all have to go through the embarrassing like hand slaps to like do better.
This is the Good Influencer Podcast with Julia Marcum and Becca McLeod, pulling back the curtain of how this multi-billion-dollar industry works. If you're going to be an influencer, be a good one.
Hi!
How's it going?
Good. We're in our brand new podcast studio at the CLJ office, and I hope it looks good. I can't really tell yet, but I'll be able to see after.
I am in love with that wallpaper. I am. I just ordered my first order of wall pops yesterday, and I'm so excited to get them installed.
What did you get?
I just got the like gray and white ones.
Oh, nice.
The
Floors.
classics.
The floor pops.
The floors. We're doing floors. I need some new tile in my guest bath and can't wait.
Oh, you are hitting the ground running there in Texas.
Absolutely. Well, I was thinking about you this morning because I just got this new gym membership. I'm really loving it. But I notice when I go that there are always like 4 to 5 people filming themselves. How do you feel about people filming themselves at the gym?
I must be one of the lucky ones. I've never seen that happen at my gym before.
Really?
I obviously see a lot of, well, here's my take. When I see like my favorite fitness influencers and they give me, daily tips from their workouts at the gym, I absolutely love it. And sometimes I'm like, I like save every single ab workout that they give me. And I can tell some of these were filmed at their gym. And so for that reason, I'm grateful. However, I've seen some controversy of like people filming in some sort of class and other people getting embarrassed or like not wanting that. And I can also very much relate to that because I am definitely someone that goes to another world at the gym. Like I have my headphones on. I'm not really looking to film myself. It's like, it's definitely one of those sacred times of the day for me or sacred subjects. Like I always tell influencers, have parts of your life that are just for you and keep those safe and sacred because anything you put out there, people can comment on. And one of my things has always been like, I am not sharing really like the lifting, working out part of my day. Now, I do share like little glimpses into that, of course, but I'm not filming myself working out every day. And I would struggle with that. And you said there's a lot at your gym?
There is, but I will say it's a lot. Like I swear everyone that goes to our gym is like 20s or 30s, but also at our gym in North Carolina, there were a few, and I used to film myself at the gym and like post my workouts.
Yeah.
But I was hyper aware of like, oh, I don't want to get anybody else in this. I have one time at the gym had to ask somebody to like move their camera so I wasn't in the angle. But for the most part, I feel like I'm okay with it as long as you're aware of not getting anybody else in it. I don't want to see myself on TikTok in the back of a video doing a workout.
Oh my goodness. No, absolutely not. And I do think it's probably become more prevalent. And it does seem like there should be some sort of laws to protect people that don't want to be on social. I actually just saw someone, oh my goodness, someone was doing, this is wild. Someone was doing I feel like the word is mukbang.
I was just having this debate with Connor about, is it mukbang or mukbang?
Anyway, they were just like eating things, and this is just something like that came up on my TikTok For You page, and they were eating something at a restaurant, filming themselves, and in the background, I guess there was a guy and a girl eating, and it turns out that the wife saw it and the girl that was with the guy was not the wife. So there are consequences.
Right. Okay, that's a tricky one.
Yeah. So I think that it's really good as influencers. It is our job to make sure like people that don't want to be in our videos, and this goes right to your kids, especially if you have kids and your kids don't want to be in your videos, sponsored, affiliated, or organic, they shouldn't be in your videos. And that's something that, I implement really strictly. And that goes for the contractors in my home. It goes for anyone close to me or completely unrelated. If you don't want to be in my video, or if I haven't asked if you want to be in a video of mine, I'm not going to publish it. It's not going to happen.
Right. Everyone has a right not to be online.
Yeah, I agree.
We have to be aware of that. Okay, talking about like influencer etiquette, kind of, are there any other kind of like pet peeves you have that you've like seen online recently?
Well, okay, so this is my personal hardship, and this was one that was kind of put on me by other influencers that, to be honest, I really, really struggle with. This is going to sound barbaric.
I can't wait.
A few years ago, there was this uproar among influencers that they didn't feel like they were being treated like human beings in their DMs. And people were just asking for things like without any introduction or any prefacing. They were just like, where's that from? And so there was this huge movement among influencers to say like, hey, before you request information of me, can you please like say hello or like introduce yourself? And this movement really took off. And like, I know I was not a part of that movement, but I am still being affected by it because I never wanted that. I don't know if it's my personality type or if what it is. I struggle so much when I receive a block of text in my DMs that I then have to like return the whole favor of pleasantries. And this is why it sounds so barbaric. Like, I should want that. That sounds wonderful. I don't. I totally understand you're coming to me for information. I know my place. I will give you the information in 3 words or less. That is my that's my efficiency talking, Like, I have 2,000 DMs to get through right now. So sometimes I reply with a heart. Sometimes I say yes. And I know how that must feel for some people, that it must come across as like cold or short or impersonal. But for me, it's like, it's so difficult to have 2,000 heartfelt conversations a day. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. So that is something that I am not good at. And I know other people have really struggled with. And so it's other people's pet peeve that now I'm kind of like a part of. Like, oh, we have to have these full-on conversations with everyone we talk to, which sounds like the humane thing to do. But, I mean, of course, there's other things like, I just feel like, going back to kids, for instance, there's a lot of, rightfully so, influencers that are protecting their children. And to me, I'm like, if you're not going to post your kids, don't post your kids. I don't need to see a picture of your kids with an emoji face over it.
Oh my gosh, I could not agree more.
That's just posting your kids. Like, hello?
I totally respect that. I had a mentorship call yesterday with a girl who was like, I want to be in the motherhood niche, but I don't want to show my kids online. I'm like, that's totally fine. You don't show your kids, but don't constantly post pictures of your kids and blur their face or put an emoji on their face. It's just distracting.
It's so, it's distracting. And also, I think it's very much like you want your cake and to eat it too. It's like, I don't want to post my kids online, but I'm going to with the minimal protection of them, which is putting an emoji over your face. Now, I have 3 girls, and they have varying levels of wanting to be online. And they go through phases. And sometimes you might see my kids or one of my kids more than another one of my kids. Sometimes you might not see one of my kids for months. And that has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them and me respecting them, and putting them online with an emoji over them is not respecting their wishes. Because their wish was not for me to not show their face. Their wish was like, I don't feel like I want to be online right now, which I can definitely relate to, and
I get it.
I can respect that. And a lot of times these kids don't even have the wherewithal to even express that at certain ages. Like my girls are all, 7, 11, I always have to like do this slowly, 7, 11, and 15 right now. And they are all able to recognize what I do and not even the full impacts of it though. And to verbalize, I don't really want you to post that. No problem. This is just for me. And when they say that, that means it's just for me. So that's something I really struggle with. And then like another pet peeve. Okay, tell me if this is going too harsh, but I think this is something that we should talk about, because I think it's a great tip for influencers. When you go away, which we talked about going away, either on vacation or just taking a little break.
Yeah.
When you come back, don't apologize for being gone. You don't need to apologize for being gone. That is your time. And most of the time, your audience is not, this might sound harsh, they might not notice that you were gone. But also, apologizing that you were gone is saying that it was a bad thing.
Which it's not.
That might be something that you really needed. That might be something that you really needed. So you don't need to apologize if you disappear. And that's like not, I guess that's a pet peeve, but it's also like a tip, I would say.
Do you think some influencers do that in order to kind of start the conversation of, but here's a bunch of photos from my trip?
I mean, you can come back and say, instead of saying, I'm so sorry, I haven't been online recently, I've been so busy, let's make this a little more positive. It kind of makes your audience feel like they're a burden. Like, I'm so sorry, I've been so busy. It's like, you can say, you don't even have to acknowledge you've been online, but you can if you want. You can just say, I have had the most wonderful trip, or just drop like highlights from the past month and give us a little recap if you want. However, not for the list to continue on, but if you aren't going to give us a recap, then don't mention it at all.
Right.
You don't have to vaguely talk about anything online that you don't want to talk about fully. Please. We're all too nosy for that.
They should know better than that.
If you vaguely start talking about something, the keyboard warriors are going to work on you until they find out every little thing that you've done over the last however long it's been.
Absolutely. And never train your audience that they should be able to know every single thing that goes on in your life.
I know. I have this fantasy about being like this mysterious person, like all the time. I mean, from a very young age, I'm like, I'm going to go to this party and I'm going to be like this mysterious person. And then I become an influencer, and anytime I go to any social gathering, I can't stop talking, and I'm totally the opposite of a mysterious person. So it's very difficult for me to vaguely talk about anything. And so either I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it, or I'm just going to unload everything about it. And there's very little gray area for me.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I go into like, work at a little coffee shop, get a drink. I tell the barista my whole life story. I just can't shut up. There's nothing mysterious here.
Oh my gosh. Becca and I love chatting with you every week, but in between the podcast episodes, we're hanging out in our influencer mastermind. With a good influencer subscription, you get access to our exclusive course library designed to help you build your business as an influencer, and our mastermind forum on Facebook. This is your place to ask questions, network, and workshop. Here you can receive feedback from thousands of other influencers and our team. Listeners get 30% off their monthly subscription by using the code PODCAST at checkout. See you in the mastermind.
Okay, I want to bring up and I want to get your feelings on something I've also seen lately. And maybe this isn't common knowledge. I don't think it was common knowledge for me, but I have seen influencers taking other people's photos or taking photos of other people or other people's products and putting their own affiliate links on them. And where do you draw the line for that?
This was a lesson that I learned many years ago, and I don't even know if you know this, Becca. This was probably 8 years ago. I loved this light fixture. I want to say it was from CB2. And I was sharing about it. I think this was before Instagram stories, but I put it on my blog, and I found this image of it in use in someone's home. And I put it in a blog post, and I put an affiliate link to the light fixture. And I remember receiving immediate feedback from my audience, like, you can't just use this person's photo of their kitchen to link a light that you like. And it took me I'm sad to say it took me a minute to realize like why that was wrong. Because in my mind, I was just talking about a light fixture that I really liked, and I found it in use somewhere, and I put that person's image in my blog post with credit to the person. I did not ask if I could use it. And then I used an affiliate link to their blog post. And basically what it comes down to is you are using someone else's content to monetize, which you cannot do. We run into this a lot with brands, or sometimes brands as in more like media brands. So I don't want to name drop someone that hasn't done it, but you know those like online magazines that publish a lot of content a day and post a lot of articles, and they might ask if they can feature your content on their website. We always respond, you may, with proper credit, you are not allowed to use affiliate links to link our content. And I like I said, I've done it myself, and I learned from it many years ago. And now I see it happen all the time with influencers. And a lot of influencers don't understand or may not understand what's wrong with it. And it's basically like another way that someone else can monetize your work for their own gain. So we can't be doing that. And I see it, the worst offender is I think when other influencers are doing it to other influencers. It's like they're taking, it could be an idea, an image, and they're putting, like LTK has really cracked down on this, but there were influencers that were taking my, entire images of my house and putting it on their LTK with like lookalikes for everything. And it's like, you just can't do that. I know it sounds like, why not? But I feel like it should be so obvious that if you didn't create the content, you have no right to monetize the content without permission. And if you're asked for permission, why would you say yes? So this This happens a lot in the affiliates, but then there's also, for some reason, this more gray area which I don't think is very gray, but where people are creating content for online. Let's say it's not affiliate content. Let's just say it's creative content, a reel, or something like that. And then other people are copying it completely. This is a gray area because, and I actually called this years ago, and I remember you and I having a discussion about it, that TikTok really encouraged this. I think that they still do. And
just the content copying.
Yes. The content copying is encouraged by TikTok, and it blows my mind to like jump on a trend, but the trend is using the same music and doing the same moves, and we're all copying each other's stuff. And so I think that's why it's a gray area. But I recently had one of my best friends, she made a reel for this brand, and someone else literally copied the reel like 2 weeks later with the same music and the same like frame by frame for the brand. And nothing was really done about that. And it's just alarming that if you're an influencer, there does have to be a sense of originality, and there should be pride in that originality.
For sure.
I love the idea of jumping on a song or like a trending sound. I love that idea. But I think that the way to become a actual like super successful influencer that goes beyond follower count, because that might get you views following a trend. But to go beyond that, let's talk about brand deals. Let's talk about sponsorships, trusted audience. You are going to have to be a trendsetter, not a trend follower.
Yeah, I agree. And it's all, especially in a world where anything can be monetized. You can be monetizing your carousels, your reels, obviously your affiliate links, your sponsorships. Like, you would never want to be, in my mind, it's kind of like taking money out of another influencer's pocket.
Oh,
which
absolutely.
is never a good thing for the industry. And especially like in the case of your friend, I think a brand getting delivered 2 of the exact same reels, I don't think it reflects well on using influencers as marketing.
I know. And the brand ended up posting my friends, and they didn't repost the other person's. So to me, that says everything you need to know really loud and clear without saying anything. And, I think it's tacky when influencers do that, but I also respect the way that, I asked my friend, I was like, are you going to like comment? And she's like, no, I'm not going to do anything about it. And I think in the moment you want to, right? You want to like confront the person and be like, you just copied my work like frame by frame. But in the end, I think it's always better to take the higher road. And I've dealt with my fair share of copycats. And in the end, like cream rises to the top. And I don't take it as flattery. I know that people are always like, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. In some instances, sure. I haven't been able to feel the flattery yet. I just feel the frustration, but then it does motivate me to like keep going. I'm like, okay, well, if I have copycats, I must be doing something right. And I guess maybe that's where the flattery comes in. And it just honestly pushes me to go outside of the box even more next time.
Yeah.
And
that's something that, I mean, that comes up a lot in our meetings of like, okay, how can we change and adapt things to be more unique? Like we did this, now everybody's doing it. We got to transition to something else because, you know, if you're not the first one doing it, you're the last.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, I just saw someone this week, an influencer, post a picture of what what my dog looks like as a human. And I'm like, girlfriend, that was 2 months ago that we were doing that.
Yeah. Those like really viral trends, like the Little Miss one. If you didn't do it that one day, you're late.
It's so bad. You have to do it that day. And that's really the important thing about adapting. Like you as an influencer, you have to be able to adapt and think quick or forget about it.
Yeah.
Either you're going to do it or you just forget about it. It does require being chronically online, I guess, too.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with that, but
no, not my issue. Not my issue. Okay, a couple other things that I think little etiquette things for influencers to keep in mind. I think it's a great tip when you want to network with brands. For instance, this week I was unboxing something and I tagged the brand in my story, just up at the top. It was not sponsored. I purchased it myself, but it was their product and I tagged them. And someone in my DMs was like, you've always been good about disclosing sponsorships, and I'm really disappointed that you didn't disclose this sponsorship. I can see you tag the brand. And you know how I feel about paragraphs of dialogue, but I did take the time to educate them and say, this is my form of networking with brands. If I purchase something, if I'm talking about a brand, I always tag them because I want them to know, hey, I'm talking about you, I'm buying you, I'm linking to you. Even if they have no idea who I am, this is my formal introduction. I am talking about you in my stories and I'm going to tag you. So that's networking. When brands, and I preach that to influencers all the time, that is one of the best ways to organically get your foot in the door with any brands. When I say that, and then influencers take that and start tagging a bunch of brands in all of their stories that have nothing to do with what they're talking about, that's a really bad look. Okay, that's taking the good thing and twisting it into a really bad look that's going to get you blocked. Like, don't do that. And I see influencers, I mean, I hate to say it, but I see influencers tagging me in things that I have nothing to do with. And I'm like, I don't know why you're tagging me in this. And when they do tag me in things that I have some things to do with, that's an opportunity that I can repost and reshare those things. But when I'm not tagged in it, it sours the whole experience. So I think just be mindful of that.
And as like, I've spent years running the Good Influencer account, which is a brand account, and the power of getting stories or posts from influencers who have been in the mastermind, who have done Good Influencer, and being able to reshare those to stories is incredible. I love seeing those come in. And so when we get tagged in them, and then I get so excited, oh, we're going to have some like UGC to reshare to stories. And then I go to it and it's nothing about us. I'm like, you may not think the brand notices, but they do, because they're so excited to get tagged in something. And then when they're not, it's just like, oh man, I don't know why I was tagged in this.
Right. It's kind of, like I said, it kind of just sours the whole experience. And so giving credit to your inspiration, your source, is like all really great things. And I think it just goes back to the whole etiquette of the situation. I've learned my lesson like over the whole years, which is why we're doing this and which is why we're sharing all these information. None of these things are things that I haven't like done myself, and I see other influencers doing it. And this is me just like helping you because I've been there.
Right.
And I don't feel like we all have to go through the embarrassing like hand slaps to like do better.
Yeah. We're giving you a heads up from personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
I got this question in the mastermind from an influencer. She said, I know the advice is to always include your media kit when pitching a brand, but what if the brand is willing to pay me more than what I would normally charge? Should I hold off on sending my media kit until I know their budget for the campaign? And I saw this and I immediately thought of influencer etiquette. And you have specific rates that you set that are in line with industry standard for your following and your engagement. And if you start charging a brand more than that, because let's say they're a big brand and you think they, they can afford it, you risk ruining sponsored opportunities for all influencers, because you're not going to be able to deliver the reach and the engagement that you're promising with the rates that you're offering to brands. Also, I think brands talk. And if you're charging one brand way more than another and they find out about that, they're not going to work with you again.
A lot. And with that, a lot of brands are represented by the same agency.
True.
So when you say brands are going to talk, you could be talking to the same brand. You could be talking to the same person. Also, I think this goes beyond etiquette, and this goes to ethical. When your rates are your rates, and you are dealing with a Walmart versus an Etsy shop, and you send over your media kit with your rate card on it, and Walmart says yes. And in your mind, you're like, ugh, I could have got more from them. No, you should feel your rates are rates that you should feel really good about. That's what you're worth. That's what you can deliver on. Those are the numbers that you feel confident are going to give the brand an ROI that has them return. If the Etsy shop, though, comes back and says, ugh, I can't hit these rates. And you have two options. One, you can say like, I'm so sorry. Like, these are just what I know I can deliver on. And if it changes in the future, let me know. Or you can say, negotiate. You have the power to negotiate down any of your rates with a company that you feel like you really want to work with that maybe doesn't have the budget that another company does. But we have the same rates for anywhere we go, any company that we work with, because we're a small business as well.
Right. And you are building a relationship with the brand. This isn't just a one-off sponsorship where you're going to see how much money you can get out of them. This is a relationship you're trying to build for years and years, and you don't want to ruin that by trying to get too much out of them on the first campaign, and then you can't deliver numbers to match up with what you're charging.
Also, like a hairstylist, they're not going to charge someone something for highlights and someone else that might be in a different tax bracket, something else, their rates are their rates. And it's like, who can work, who can go to them to get their hair done? I might have to find, it's like, that's just what it is. That's just, if you think it's just a very normal way of charging for things.
It is. And if I had a friend go to the same hairdresser and I found out they were paying way less, I would never go back to that hairdresser again.
Oh my goodness. That would be dramatic. That would be terrible.
Oh no. So, we kind of started this episode talking about filming in the gym. And what it really comes down to is just being conscious and aware of those around you. And I think as influencers, it's the same thing. It's being conscious and aware of the influencers around you. The fact that we're kind of all in this together, all trying to achieve the same things, and being aware of your influence on the internet and the power that you have to be a positive impact on your community and in your niche. So your homework is spend some time this week, go follow some accounts in your niche, go engage with their content, work on building those relationships. And we will see you guys next week. We're going to be talking about who really controls the algorithm. Bye.
Ooh, juicy.
Bye.
Until next time, follow us on YouTube and Instagram at Good Influencer. And if you're ready to join a whole community of influencers growing organically and getting paid to do what they love, join the Good Influencer Mastermind by visiting our website, good-influencer.com. If you're going to be an influencer, be a good one.